To start this process, we need to draw a semicircle on the base work plane. Draw a circle using the circle tool of 100 mm diameter. Then, using the line tool from the center of the work plane, draw a line which will bisect the circle in two. Then, using the delete tool, delete the parts of the circle we no longer need to form a semicircle. Then, click on Feature, Revolve Profile. Change the angle to 180 as we only need a hemisphere, and select the central axis. Click OK, and you should have a hemisphere. Rotate it over so you can see the flat surface below. Use the Face tool to select the top face. Then go to Feature, Modify Solids, and Deform Face. In the dialog box that appears, enter a value of 20. Then click OK, and you will see that it deforms the face by pulling it up to a point. We now need to make a new work plane. Select the work plane tool and select what was the base work plane. Then click on Work Plane, New Work Plane, and enter an offset value of 50. This work plane should be sitting just on top of the hemisphere. Always remember, make a new sketch before drawing onto a new work plane. Again, on top of it, make a smaller semicircle, this time of about 40 mm diameter. This time, click on Feature, Revolve Profile, enter Subtract Material, change the angle to 180, and select below the work plane, and then again, as always, select the central axis. Once you can see the yellow preview, click OK, and it should hollow out a spherical shape in the top of the hemisphere. Next, we need to draw another circle back on the base work plane. So, selecting the work plane tool, make sure you select the original base work plane. Then select Work Plane, New Sketch. Select the View on the Work Plane tool and select View Auto Scale. This time draw a small circle whose centre sits on the outer edge of the hemisphere. Of diameter 12 mm. Then, once we have done this, we need to draw a central axis. Draw a straight line up from the centre, right click and toggle constructed so it does not affect your original sketch. Then again, Feature, Revolve Profile, keep the angle on 360 but select Subtract Material. Make sure the central axis is selected. You will see a yellow preview. Then click OK. You should now have a channel cut out across the middle of the hemisphere. We now want to repeat this channel by using the Pattern tool. In the left hand side on the drop down menu, select Features and select the feature which we have just done, the revolution. Right click on it and select Pattern. Select the Edge tool and select the edge of the hemisphere. You should see a small arrow appearing. In the Pattern Feature dialog box, you should see that is now asking you for a circular pattern. Enter the number of times we want to see this repeated. You will see a yellow preview appear. When you've got what you want, select OK. We have now created the shape which I intend to cast. Make sure you save your final design. Now open up a new design and we are going to assemble the component into it. Click on the View on the Work Plane tool and use View Auto Scale to zoom in. Now select the Rectangle tool and draw a rough square around the outside of it. We need to make sure that your component is sitting directly in the middle of this square. We can do this by using the Dimension tool. If we click on the Dimension tool and then select one of the outer edges of the square, then move the cursor just over the inside of the outer circle of your component which you have made. You will notice that a black dot appears in the center. This is the center of your object. Click and drag and you will see a dimension appear. Click the Constraint tool and change this to 60. Do the same for the other 4 sides. We now know that the component is sitting in the center of the square. Now rotate it back so you can see what you are doing. Click on Feature, Extrude Profile and extrude the square over the top of your component. And click OK. Rotate it round so we can now see the component sitting in the top of the cuboid shape. Then click on the Use Component tool. Then select the Part tool and select the component which you assembled into this design. In the Use Component tool dialog box, click Subtract Material and click OK. You will see that you can use the component to create a negative mould of your shape. This is a very useful tool, especially for making moulds. Save this shape as mould top and save it. We now want to make the top part of the mould using the same process. Go to the drop down menu and select Components. Right click on Mould and deselect the hide so it appears again. Then using the same drop down menu, go to Features and right click on the tool and delete it. Update your drawing. Now right click on Extrusion and redefine it. This time we will go the opposite direction, so below work plane at a distance of 30. You will see on the screen the yellow preview to show you that it's now going around the top of your component. Click OK. We can now repeat the process by clicking on the Use Component tool. Click on Subtract Material. Using the Component tool, select the component you want to use to subtract the material and click OK. And you now have the mould for the other side of your component. When you go to save this, do not press File Save or you will save over the original top part of the mould. Go to File, Save Copy As. Click No when it asks you do you want to save copies of all referenced files, and enter mould bottom. Click Save. Now close these windows, and if it asks you to save changes, click No. Now in a separate design, go to File, New Design, and assemble in the two different parts to make your mould. They should appear side by side. Use the component tool to drag them apart to check the inside is correct. You can use the semi-transparent tool, which shows the part transparent, to double check any interior details. Another useful tool is the section tool. This allows you to see any cross section in your components by selecting a work plane. For example, I would select frontal, click OK, and it will show you a cross section of your components cut along the frontal work plane, which if I select the work plane tool is this work plane here. Similar, if I select the lateral work plane and click on it, I can see it from different views. This again is a very useful tool for examining detail inside a shape. At this point we should also consider adding locating pins to make sure both moulds come together accurately. We can do that by opening up each design separately. So if we go to File, Open, and we open up the top part first. We turn it over, select the bottom face and make a new sketch. Click OK and begin to draw what could be locating pins in the corners. To make sure they're in the same position on each corner of the square, you could use central axis to reflect the sketch around. So for example, draw a central vertical line, toggle construct it, and do the same horizontally. We can then select the first sketch we drew and go to Line, Mirror. The sketch has been selected as shown here under the Lines tab. Click on the axis and then select one of the axes to reflect it across. Click OK, then select both sketches together, and again as before, except the axis is obviously the vertical one. We can now extrude these to make the pins. If we now select those 4 circles which have been drawn and copy them, we can now open up the bottom part, select the surface we want to add them onto, make a new sketch, and simply edit and paste them onto that surface, and they should appear in exactly the right positions. We then this time extrude the profile, but this time subtract material below the work plane to the same height of the locating pins on the other part. If we now minimize this screen and open up the original assembly, we can now see that it's been already updated with the locating pins added. We should also consider adding holes for the sprue, risers and fence depending on the material we are using to cast.